All right, so listen. Whenever I tell people that at one point I seriously thought I was going to die in the Mexican desert, they always roll their eyes. Like, come on, dude, you exaggerate everything. But I swear on all that is holy, beer, barbecue, and football, this story is true. And honestly, to this day, I can't look at tacos without a little flashback to what happened. It all started pretty harmlessly. I was in that awkward quarter-life crisis zone. 30 years old, office job, spreadsheets, bad coffee, boss who loved saying stuff like, let's schedule another meeting to prep for the next meeting. You know the type. My life smelled like microwave salmon from my coworker Karen's lunch. So one night, I'm sitting at home with a beer in my hand, scrolling Instagram, and I see this buddy of mine. He's in a sombrero, holding a giant margarita. Caption says, Viva Mexico! And right then, something snapped in my brain. I was like, that's it. I need adventure. I don't care if it's dumb. I don't care if it's dangerous. I just need something that doesn't involve fluorescent lights and Outlook calendars. I checked my bank account. The balance looked, let's just say, survivable. Enough to grab a cheap flight and live off ramen noodles for the rest of the month. And you know the saying, you only live once, so I bought a ticket. But not to Cancun. Not Mexico City, not Cabo. No, that would have made too much sense. I bought a ticket to Tijuana because it was the cheapest. And let me tell you something, cheap always ends up expensive in the long run. I land in Tijuana, and instantly it's like someone switched the channel on my life from boring corporate cubicle to low-budget Tarantino movie. Colors everywhere, music blasting, smells hitting me from all directions, tacos on one street corner, burning rubber on another, something unidentifiable but definitely suspicious somewhere else. I step out of the airport and grab a taxi. Driver's this cheerful guy named Raul. He asked me what I'm there for SAPE. And like an idiot, I say, adventure. He bursts out laughing so hard I thought he was going to crash the car. Adventure in Tijuana? Oh, amigo, you'll get it. I thought he was joking. Spoiler, he was not joking. The first taste of trouble. That night, I wandered into a bar. Well, bar might be generous. It was basically a basement with a flickering neon sign that said, El Diablo's Smile. Yeah, sounds like the kind of place where you lose a kidney, right? I order a beer, and within 5 minutes, some guy in a cowboy hat sits down next to me, introduces himself as Chewy. Yeah, Chewy. At first, I thought he was messing with me, but nope, dead serious. My name is Chewy. Don't laugh, gringo. We get to talking. Turns out he's, how do I put this, a local entrepreneur. I ask, what kind of business? He goes, I solve problems. I ask, what kind of problems? He smiles. Any kind. Now, any sane person would have walked away, right? But I was on my third beer and thinking, hell yeah, authentic local culture. An hour later, we're doing karaoke together, screaming some emotional Spanish ballad, and Chewy's got his arm around me saying, you're my new brother. And of course, I believed him. The next morning, I wake up in a cheap hostel, head pounding. There's a crumpled piece of paper in my pocket. It says, meet me at midnight. Don't be late. From Chewy. And I'm like, what the hell? I try to piece the night together. I remember karaoke. I remember dancing. I vaguely remember him saying something about a little mission. Now, a smart person would have just ignored it, right? Gone to get some tacos and a hangover Coke and forgotten about it. But no, I was there for adventure, remember? So at 11:50 p.m., I'm standing in the middle of nowhere by some sketchy gas station on the edge of town. A beat-up pickup pulls up. Out steps Chewy, grinning ear to ear. Amigo, you came! And then he hands me, wait for it, a giant box of fireworks. Hold these. We're going to a wedding. I thought he was joking. Nope. We drive out to some ranch. The wedding's massive. People drinking, eating, dancing, live music blasting, and then Chewy shoves me forward and shouts, here's our special guest from America. He's going to do the fireworks show. Everyone claps, and there I am, standing there like a dumbass, holding this box, thinking, okay, guess I'm the entertainment. So I start lighting fireworks, tossing them up, people are cheering, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm in the zone. Until I accidentally lit an entire pack at once. The whole thing went up in flames in my hands. Like a cartoon character, I panicked and tossed it as far as I could. And of course, it landed in the wedding cake. Boom. Half the cake exploded, frosting everywhere, the bride was covered in whipped cream, the groom looked like he'd just been plastered to a wall, and me? My eyebrows were singed off. I just looked around and muttered, "Surprise." Dead silence, and then laughter. Turns out the groom loved dumb pranks, and he thought it was the greatest wedding ever. Crisis averted. And then it got weirder. After the wedding, Chewy claps me on the back and says, "Amigo, you're amazing. Tomorrow, another adventure." I should have said no, but beer plus new friendship equals zero common sense. The next day, he drags me across the border, says we need to bring something into the U.S. I'm like, absolutely not. I am not starring in Narcos, the Netflix prequel. He laughs. Relax, not what you think. And he's right. We were smuggling a goat. Yeah, just a regular goat. His aunt in California wanted it because apparently goats bring good luck. Don't ask me. Picture this. Me and Chewy hauling a goat across the U.S.-Mexico border. And the goat is acting like Beyoncé at a sold-out concert, screaming, kicking, demanding all the attention. Border guard looks at me. "This your goat?" I don't even blink. "Yes, sir. Emotional support goat." He raised an eyebrow, but waved us through. At that moment, I realized America is truly the land of opportunity. But here's where things really got dicey. That evening, heading back to Mexico, a couple of black SUVs roll up on us. Guys step out, big, serious, the kind of dudes whose whole job is to make you regret your life choices. One of them talks to Chewy in Spanish. Chewy's face goes pale. He turns to me and mutters, "Amigo, we might have a problem." I had no idea what was being said, but I knew enough to realize this was bad. They're arguing, voices getting louder, tension rising, and then the goat starts braying. Loud, like blood-curdling loud. And for some reason, one of the scary dudes starts laughing, like full belly laugh. The others look confused, then they start chuckling too. Within a minute, everyone's laughing their asses off. Just like that, the tension evaporates. They wave us off and drive away. I stood there, heart pounding, sweating through my shirt. Chewy just shrugs and says, "See, amigo, adventure." The very next day, I bought a ticket home. I'd had enough adventure for one lifetime. Back in the office, people asked me, "So, how was your trip?" And I just shrugged. Nothing special, just walked around a bit. But inside, I knew I'd survived a Mexican adventure, blown up a wedding cake, smuggled a goat, and narrowly avoided being the star of a cartel story. And here's the thing I learned. Sometimes you gotta shake up your life. If you wait around for adventure to knock on your cubicle door, the most you'll get is cold pizza from the vending machine. But if you take a risk, even a dumb one, you'll at least walk away with a story worth telling around a fire. And most importantly, if anyone ever asks you to smuggle something across the border, pray to God it's just a goat.